Hey, good afternoon. It's Brandon Devnich from i3dTHEMES. I hope you've had a fantastic week. It's been pretty busy here. I want to start off this week with a little bit of a story. Now, you may have known that in the summertime, Colin and I like to sneak out for 9 holes of golf once a week. I started golfing with him and his buddies probably 12 or 13 years ago. And when I first started with them, I got the unfortunate nickname, and now it sounds cool, but I got the nickname Hurricane because I had a crazy fast swing that was crazy out of control. Now, if you play golf or if you've ever seen golf, you understand that you got to have a little bit of control. That making that little white ball go down the fairway is not as easy as it might look. Some 10, almost 15 years later, I've learned a few tricks, okay? I can now, 80% of the time, put the ball this way, or straight off the tee box. It's a great feeling when you hit a successful drive. I am not a pro by any stretch of the imagination because of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th shots. You get the idea. I can hit off the tee box, but the rest of it, maybe not so well. But, this week I was able to sneak out on Tuesday, play with a few of the guys, and we're going to forget the first hole because it was a train wreck. But the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, actually, the rest of the game was fantastic. But it was really the 7th hole, the 7th tee box, actually, that was just the best. It's actually the highest elevation for Highland Pacific Golf Course in Victoria, BC. This is a beautiful course. It is just a fantastic course. But the 7th has this, I'm going to say, pretty much, panoramic view of the Victoria area and the glistening waters of the harbor and the ocean beyond. It's actually very picturesque. And then you turn your view to the fairway, which is way over there, beyond a ravine. And there's a double dogleg left, and there's this ginormous fir and oak tree that is guarding the left-hand side. And if you're a golfer like I was 10 years ago, your slice is going in the wrong direction. This hole was not designed for somebody with a power slice. But seeing as I've been working on things, I said to myself, Self, you're going to put it down the fairway over there. You're going to curve it around that big old tree and put it way over the ravine and put it onto the fairway. So I did that. Put the ball down, addressed the ball, told myself, do what you need to do, and I drew the ball around the tree 250 yards down on the fairway. What a fantastic feeling. But it got me to thinking about speed. Is speed everything with golf? Well, maybe it might not be everything, but it is a key component. Just like having a website, speed is a key component. Because like golf, having a website, there are lots of pieces to the puzzle. In golf, if you don't have the ball placed in front of you in the right place, it might not go in the right direction. If you're not following through properly, things aren't going to be working very well for you. If your shoulder is in one position or if your club face is open, not very good. So it doesn't matter how fast you're hitting the ball at that point, things are going to go every which way. But if you have all of that in play, everything is good, you know how to swing the ball properly, but you're not hitting it very far, you could be going straight, but you could be just going a few yards, or even 50 yards or 100 yards. But you're going to have to take a whole lot more swings to keep up with the rest of the guys in your group, right? With websites, luckily you don't have to worry about your speed taking you off course. If you just have a fast website, it's just fast. It can only be good. But there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. You've heard this before. Do you have engaging content on your website? Is the navigation structure, coherent? Is it mobile responsive? Are you active in your social media networks? And is your website fast? Now there's a couple things going on here. You can have all of those things except the page speed and the load time of your web server. You could be doing stellar. You could be engaging so awesome on social media. But if you, and you can have all your content and your mobile responsive website, but if your website is slow, no one's going to either get to you or stay on your website. Or the search engines are going to say, sorry, you take way too long to load. You're not doing enough to respect the people that are using mobile devices or on dial-up, which is really super important. You think about it like this. Two websites, you and me, or your competition, or whatever. If everything else is equal, everything. If you have the same content, the same inbound links, the same activity on social media engagement, the same engaging content, they're both mobile responsive, but the other website is twice as fast as you, say they load in 2 seconds, but you load in 4 seconds on every single page, well, people are more likely going to stay on their site. They're more likely going to find the other site. And that's why it's really, really important that all other things, figured out, that you have the speed of your website all figured out as well. So, this is actually what's been happening here at i3dThemes, and we've been working on this day in and day out for the last 6 months on a couple different fronts. Actually, this week we were just finishing up the migration of one of our older web hosting servers to brand new hardware, and I was just amazed. I did some benchmarking. The old hardware, I was running a test on a WordPress site. It had a lot of images on it, but the entire page, it took 10 seconds for all the images, everything, all the resources to load. And on the new server, it took something like 4.5 or 4.2 seconds. The initial document object model, or the page, initially rendered in like 1.6 seconds, where on the old server it was something like, I'm going to say 3.5. And anyways, it's twice as fast. And now that's a WordPress site, which is pretty heavy duty on the computational cycles for the server. But this new server is it's going to make a huge difference to all of our customers that we have on that server box. But there's another aspect to making sure your web pages load and render fast. And we've been working on this for the last 6 months, and we developed an application called Accelerator. Now, Accelerator is a website plugin. You drop into your website, you turn it on, and it does some incredible magic to your website. It optimizes your site for recommendations provided by Google through a tool that they have called Google PageSpeed Insights. And you can go Google this, and if you haven't already done this, find out what your page speed score is. But you can type it in and find out, wow, my web page is only at 50 out of 100. If it is, you might want to pay attention. The thing is that Google wants you to be taking every step possible to try to optimize your web page so that it loads and renders fast, because they're in the UX business. They might do search, but they really want to provide the best results to people that are coming to Google and typing in cat videos or whatever, right? So they want to provide results for web pages that are fast, that are going to keep people happy and keep people wanting to use Google. So the results have to be relevant, but they also have to be fast results. So we developed this tool called Accelerator that magically just speeds up the rendering of the web page, and actually speeds up the website and the web pages as well by doing a couple magical things behind the scenes. You can actually do all this stuff yourself by going to Google PageSpeed Insights and looking at all their recommendations and all the tips and tricks that they give you. Some of the tasks are a little bit tricky. It took us a while to become experts at what it is that needed to be done. But we thought to ourselves, I wish we had a tool that was just auto-magical and just did it. That's what Colin said, and I said, hold on, hold that thought. I think I can do this. And I did. So we developed this tool called Accelerator. Well, that's now gone, and it takes pages. We've had it take a page that was 0 out of 100 and put it at, I think, 100 out of 100. We have websites that run an average of 50 out of 100 without Accelerator, now running 97 out of 100, which is pretty awesome. But what it does is it gives you a leg up over everybody else in making sure that your web page is running and performing fast. Well, we are now taking that platform and porting it over and developing it for the WordPress system. Now, WordPress is a very robust and functional CMS, content management system, blogging system. You may have heard of it. About 25% of the internet runs on WordPress. It is a beast. It's great functionality, but it is 500,000 lines of code without any additional plugins installed. Whew. Well, you know what? It takes a little bit of computational time to build the page, to build the blog post, to render and serve it out to the web browser that is requesting it. And so it can take 1, 2, 3 seconds longer than a static page to render that and then serve it out. So you got to do everything you can when you have a WordPress site to make your web page load fast. One of the keys is, have a fast web server. The other thing is making sure that once the content loads, that everything renders fast. And that's where the tricks from Google PageSpeed Insights and the Accelerator website plugin come in. We're going to be porting all that functionality over to a WordPress plugin that you'll be able to use for your WordPress site. And things are going awesome. We are half done the functionality, and we're still on track for a July 1st launch. We probably should have the feature sets done in the next few weeks, but we're going to be doing a whole bunch of testing and making sure that it's ready for all the different types of configurations that are out there for WordPress. That's what's been keeping me busy. But over in the design lab, Colin, that guy, he's been doing a continuous work on his mock-up of the new website template that he's been working on. You may have heard me talk about this. He's going to be using this really cool cutting-edge effect called a cinematograph. Now, a cinematograph, it is essentially a still photograph with part of it animated. Either if you're, just go to Flixel.com, Flixel.com. And that's what they do. They develop software to create cinemagraphs. And he hasn't got a name. Hey! No, he doesn't have a name yet for it. You know what? I'm just going to call it cinematic. Yeah, cinematic. We're going to call it cinematic. At least the code name. Cinematic. That's the code name for the project. Whether he changes the name afterwards, it doesn't matter. At least I've got something to call it now. Cinematic. So cinematic is going to have cinemagraphs in it. And it looks awesome. I can't believe that we're going to be doing this and putting it into a website template format. This is really stuff that belongs, well, it doesn't belong, but that you would see in a custom web development project, $10,000, $20,000 custom design. And we're going to be making it a part of our website template. Cinematic. I think that's what we're going to call it. Anyways, that's what's been going on here this week. Listen, you probably realize that staying connected on social media for businesses is extremely important for today's web. If you're on LinkedIn, look me up, Brandon Devnich. Connect with me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you. If you want to connect with Colin, Colin Fraser is a little bit more of a common name. So look for Colin Fraser, i3dTHEMES on LinkedIn. Connect with him. We'd love to connect with you. And you know what? I've been talking to you guys on the phone. I know who you are out there. You say that you're watching the videos. We'd love to hear from you as well. Throw in your comments about what you've been working on. If you've got a website that you've just been working on that you want us to take a look at, we'd love to hear from you. Throw a comment down there or send me a direct message if that works for you as well. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me. Have yourself a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.